What's good, y'all? It's Voch. So I'm currently not in the compound right now. I'm doing this bit of content so I can release later. I don't know what day y'all gonna get it, but you're gonna get it. Just my way of continuing to bring y'all content while I'm in Natchez with my family or whatnot. I'm gonna be doing this a bunch because right now I'm with my people, and like next week there's gonna be another little thing that I'm doing, and then like 2 weeks after that I'm gonna be moving, so I'm gonna have to get all this up out of this crib to go to the new crib. So you're gonna be seeing some of these think pieces or soliloquies. I mean, you're just going to be seeing me giving you content in this way. Also, I'm pausing on film sessions because there's something very special in the works coming with the film sessions, or at least the next 5 of them. So hang tight on that too. It's on the way. If you want the film sessions right now, then of course you can go to my Patreon, patreon.com/vochlombardi. All the long form film sessions are over there. More film sessions are over there. More film over there than that's going to be here. That link is in the description if you want to get to it. It's only $1 to join. Or you can put in whatever you want to put in. But today's free content. I want to talk about some of the weird things that are going to happen in the top 10 of the draft. Right. I think the top 10 of the draft is going to be super interesting. For a couple of reasons. Because for one, teams can't draft. Okay, so I think teams are going to start to do a lot of goofy things in terms of what players should and should not be there. And it happens every year. You know, in our mind, if we had to pick what players are going to be top 10, then we'll say like Sewell and Slater. We'll say 4 quarterbacks. That's 6. Yep, 7. No, I can't count. Yeah, Sewell and Slater. 4 quarterbacks is 6. My bad. Then we'll get into the 3 receivers possibly. Boom, 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 boom. And then the next spot is kind of up to interpretation. If you think that there are some defensive players that should go there, then all right, cool. But I think weird things are going to happen in a way that the tight end might end up being top 5 or top 10 or so. He could be top 5. Kyle Pitts, because everybody kind of lose their mind over tight end at some point. I have a theory that offensive line is going to get shaken up a little bit. It shouldn't, but it might get shaken up a little bit. I think everybody should be pretty simpatico on this Greg Rousseau thing. I think that the preseason hype thing was just a preseason hype thing, and I'm still seeing mock drafts, so they're hearing something, but Russo may be like a mid-first round guy in the teens or something. I don't think he's ever going to be in top 10 consideration. But let's talk about some of the goofy things that can happen in top 10. First, quarterback is always going to be interesting because it's what drives what happens in the draft, right? So of course teams can move up or down. Mostly teams move up to go get somebody that they want. And we know that Wilson and Lawrence are the locked in guys, I would say for sure, that we know that they're going to be going in the top 10. I don't know where Wilson is going to go because, there's that whole Watson could be traded to the Jets thing, that old nonsense that could be happening. But could Trey Lance fall? Right? Let me ask y'all this. Could Trey Lance fall? Also, are we sleeping on Mac Wilson? Right? Because I brought this point up on my live stream the other day, in which y'all should be tuning into my live streams. I was like, if Tua Tagovailoa is a top 5 pick, right? You look at everything that he's done career-wise, the throws that he makes and da-da-da, boom, 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 then why can't Mac Jones be a top 5 pick? Because if you ask somebody, or a top 10 pick, let's just say top 10 pick. If you ask somebody, what is it that's keeping you from considering Mac Jones from being one of the top guys? And what they'll probably tell you is some nonsense along the line of, oh, well, everything was perfect for Mac Jones, right? It's hard to evaluate Mac Jones and he's that perfect. We got the best offensive line you can get him, the best receiver core you can get him, the best coaches that you can get him, best running back in football. Like, everything was perfect for Mac Jones, but I can also make the argument that those things were even more perfect for Tua Tagovailoa. You know what I'm saying? You actually get 2 more. Actually, you get 3 more first round receivers because Jalen Waddle got hurt and Mac Jones didn't even have him the entire year. So Tua had Ruggs, Judy, Waddle, and Smith, to where Mac Jones only had one of those guys. You take the offensive line that Mac Jones has right now and subtract Jedrick Wills from it, then you look at it on paper like Tua Tagovailoa had more help on his team than damn Mac Jones, pardon me. And if you want to dig a little deeper on the defensive side of the ball, if you want to make the argument that the guys on defense this year are better than the guy or the guys on defense last year are better than the guys on defense this year, you can make that argument that Mac Jones took a worse team and drove them to the promised land where Tua Tagovailoa didn't. I would love to know how a Mac Jones, like a 2021 Mac Jones led Bama team would do versus a Joe Burrow 2020 team. That seems to be a very interesting debate in my mind. But why can't Mac Jones be in that conversation? Like we put Tua up there, right? I think somebody's going to ask that question. I think somebody's going to look at Trey Lance not playing football this year for real. They're going to look at Trey Lance's film last year and they're going to think about where he is as a passer, right? They're going to really break down that Justin Fields film. And what I think is going to happen in that top 10 somewhere, I think this ain't concrete. It's just me spitballing things that we should be thinking about. I think some team is going to value Mac Jones as much as they value Trey Lance and Justin Fields, and Mac Jones may work himself into that top 10 conversation, maybe around 11 or 12. Me as a Cowboy fan, I would love for somebody to give me a gang of picks. They come up to 10 and they draft Mac Jones. I just signed my quarterback. I'm fine with that. But I really think some nonsense like that is going to happen. Also, don't be surprised if Jalen Waddle is the first receiver off the board. Not saying he will be. I'm saying he could be the first wide receiver off the board. It's very close. We're not just going to sit here and pretend that Jamar Chase is the consensus number one guy. I will do my rankings at some point. Let's just not assume that Jamar Chase is just going to be the clear-cut first guy off the board. It could be Devontae Smith. But then let's not pretend that Devontae Smith and Jamar Chase are the only options to go off the board first. Because if you're the Miami Dolphins sitting at number 3, Jalen Waddle could be that guy. Could be that guy for you. And there are a lot of people that watch the film for real. I'm not talking about media scouts that kind of get their opinion from other people. I'm talking about people that grind film for real. They watch Jalen Waddle and they go, yo, man, this dude does some things that Jamar Chase. You coming to check up on me? She coming to check up on me. My little catch up check. There are some things that Jalen Waddle does that Jamar Chase and Devontae Smith do not do. So I think it just depends on who you like the most. I can clearly see a scenario in where Jalen Waddle is the first or second receiver off the board. There are some mock drafts. I think it's BS, but there are some mock drafts that have Devontae Smith falling out of the top 10. It shouldn't be that way, but I do see it. And I tell people all the time, let's just not say what is or is not going to happen. People can't draft, and everybody got their own, different little preferences or whatever. So Waddle could go top 10. Smith could fall. Somebody else that could fall is Rashawn Slater could fall out of the top 10. I just said this on Scoutcast with Brother Jeff. Y'all can go check that show out if you like. It wouldn't surprise me if somebody liked Christian Darrisaw more than Rashawn Slater. It shouldn't be that way. But if you're a team in the tackle market, right, and you're looking for a certain type of offensive lineman, you like big guys with long arms, and you like all that kind of stuff or whatever, or like true left tackle type guys, there's somebody that's going to look at Rashawn Slater's arm length, and this shouldn't be the case, but teams can't draft. Somebody's going to look at Rashawn Slater's arm length. They're going to look at Darrisaw's arms, she knows she wrong. Look, she knows she's wrong. Somebody's gonna look at Darrisaw's arm length. They're gonna look at Rashawn Slater's short arms, right? And they're gonna go, you know what? Give me the long arm dude with the production that played against the ACC. And ACC has some pretty good talent. Whether it be the Clemson kids, the Duke kids, the Miami kids. Darrisaw has seen some pretty good competition this year. And don't get me wrong, Rashawn Slater, he got the versus, boss fight. Like he beat Chase Young, you know what I mean? And I think anybody that beats Chase Young should be should get the nod in terms of playing versus competition. But I'm willing to bet you somebody's gonna like Darrisaw a little more than Rashawn Slater. I'm not saying it's right, but I'm saying it's a possibility that it could happen. And then we got to talk about this whole Kyle Pitts thing. Now, me personally, I don't want to take a tight end in the top 10. I don't want to take a tight end in the top 20 something. I think tight end is a super luxury pick. I think every time people gamble and bet big on tight end, they end up missing. Not that the tight end ends up being bad, but it's just that if you look at, let's take TJ Hockenson, for example, right? And TJ Hockenson is one of my favorite tight ends I've ever watched film on. And he was like, what, the eighth overall pick? Is he giving you eighth overall pick worth of production? Is he giving you eighth best guy off the board worth of production? Right? Then you look at a guy like Dalton Schultz that the Cowboys got in the 4th, 5th round, 6th round, something like that. Just a day 3 guy in Dalton Schultz. Then you look at the numbers that Dalton Schultz put up compared to the numbers that Hockenson put up, and you go, man, like, what's the disparity here? Like, what am I losing? What am I gaining? I can show you film of Dalton Schultz blocking like DNs, like big boy defensive linemen, right? You know what I mean? So it's not like Hockenson is that much better than him. In my mind, Hockenson is better than him. But I'm talking about better than him in a sense of how he's used. See, it means nothing how talented you are. It really comes down to how are you practically used within your offense, like your practical application or whatnot, right? So you mean to tell me I can get a big receiver in Darren Waller who played at Georgia Tech? He big as hell. He's not receiver fast, but I can plug him at tight end and he'll be one of the best tight ends in the league. Or I can pay this premium, this 6th overall pick, 5th overall pick, 7th, 8th overall pick for a tight end, and I'll just run that guy out there. I think it's a bit risky. You know? People want to tap me on the shoulder and say, well, but Voch, you know, the best teams in the league have great tight ends. I agree, but I think those tight ends are great because they're on some of the best teams in the league. I think tight end is a product of offense and who's throwing the ball to him. If you look at George Kittle is just a product of that offense. Like, they manufactured that offense for George Kittle to get off. When Carson Wentz was really good, Zach Ertz and them was really good. When Pat Mahomes is really good, Travis Kelce is really good. That's just kind of how this thing works. You know what I mean? When Ben is on his game, Eric Ebron is worth looking at. You know what I'm saying? Until he's not, and then we flip out of that. We just cross that road, you know? So I just think it's very much so just a product. Like when Dak Prescott, and I think Dak Prescott's a top 3 quarterback in the league. Like when Dak Prescott is hitting his tight ends, whoever the hell's playing tight end is going to be good because that quarterback is good. So in my mind, do you need a Kyle Pitts in the top 10? Nah, because I think it's so much more you can do with that pick. You can get the best defender in the draft. You can get one of the receivers, one of the offensive linemen. I don't know. Then there's the question, is Kyle Pitts is he such a generational talent that he can't be passed up? And this is where I'm conflicted, because he's 100% a tight end, but he has many reps at receiver, and that dude runs past all of the top corners. Right. You look at these SEC corners, right? You look at Kelvin Joseph from Kentucky, J.C. Horn, South Carolina. You look at Patrick Surtain from Bama. What all these guys have in common is that they've run across Kyle Pitts, and Kyle Pitts got a big play on him. Kyle Pitts got a big play on all these gentlemen. You know what I'm saying? The Georgia kids. like Kyle Pitts has probably seen the most competition out of all these guys, out of all of the tight ends, I would say. And he's been victorious against them, you know? So if he can harness that, then sure, take Kyle Pitts there. But then you got to ask yourself, if Kyle Pitts was only a receiver, do you take him over Waddle, Smith, and Chase? I think that's the question, you know? If he's simply a receiver, because he's not going to blow you away blocking wise. Like, he's fine blocking because he's big, but he's blowing you away in the receiver game. So let me ask you this. What if I simply draft Jalen Waddle and put him at tight end and let him run past people? How would that go? It's an interesting conversation. I would love to hear from y'all. Like so go on the comments or whatever. You can respond to whatever it is that I'm telling y'all today. I'm gonna be looking real heavy at these comments because I want to know what y'all think. Let me know what other weird stuff could happen inside the top 10 of the draft. Don't forget we're doing the live draft party while the draft is going on this show. I'm gonna be giving my live play-by-play reactions and all that. It did really well last year. Should be fun this year. Give me a good little tune in April 29th, April 30th, and May 1st. We're doing day 1, 2, and 3 because we're gonna hold it down for the culture. You understand? Until then, follow me on Twitter, VOCHLOMBARDI. Y'all hold it down for the Doski Woski and Peasky Weezy. We got some good things coming up on the channel. Y'all be sure to stay tuned. Peace.